Says we acknowledge with respect our presence on the ancestral lands of the Yurok and Tolowa people. We wish to share our appreciation for our local Indigenous community members, uplift their voices and cultures, and thank them for being stewards of this land. And additionally, I'd also like to thank the Elk Valley Rancheria for donating the use of their beautiful community room for us this evening.
It's a brand new program, and it's the result of close to $60 million worth in workforce development and recovery funds from the state, passed down to the State Agency for the Arts, California Arts Council, who are working with 13 organizations across the state, Nevada County Arts Council being one of them, to create public awareness around really important issues critical to society, such as water and energy conservation, climate mitigation, emergency preparedness, relief, and disaster response, civic engagement, including election participation, social justice and community engagement, and public health awareness. You who are going to go out and share with your communities, essentially, the opportunity to apply for grants. Little clues about what kind of projects emerge. So one of the things that the Healthy Places Index reminds us of is the correlation between race and cultures and health. There is a real correlation between health outcomes. And so, as we'll show you, there is a way to see in every single tract of land what the racial makeup is. And we show this as a way to encourage you to acknowledge this in your applications and to, if you are acknowledging it, to make sure that you're working with and remunerating tribal members if they're consultants, for example, or encouraging tribal artists to get involved and be paid. So make sure that you're you're showing an obvious awareness for and appreciation and respect for developing relationships in these areas. And here is the Healthy Places Index. Just to say, even though we've been given this tool as a way to evaluate and promote projects in the dark blue areas, we recognize that there are untold stories that are coming out of the exclusion zones that you may know more about than the Public Health Alliance of Southern California or us. And we want to know those local stories. We want to be challenged.
But the way it comes out here, actually Del Norte has the lowest HPI score of all the counties in the upstate, 5.4 percentile. So what that means is mainly that there are 5.4% of California counties that have a lower score than here. And that's
only 5.4%.
And since there's 58, you do your math, because I don't know what a half county looks like, but anyway. But of the 8 tracts that there are, ended up with 4 of them are in the dark blue, that lowest 0 to 25 percentile, 2 in the light blue, and then 2 of them are excluded. So there's nothing that's in the green areas. That doesn't mean there aren't areas that do not score green. But so we are particularly looking at these areas that aren't scoring as well. So what are those here? Particularly it's economic. In Del Norte, the lowest scores, it ends up comparing to all counties, it is actually the bottom in terms of economic conditions.
In California?
In California. It's just in California.
I work at the hospital, and I've been saying that to the administration at the hospital, and I've been saying it to the Chamber of Commerce. You guys need to join forces. You need to go out and seek the professionals. And it's not just doctors, it's accountants and lawyers and veterinarians, and I mean everybody at the professional level. And there are people that would love to be able to kayak after work every day. There were people that want to go hike. There's people that want to live this life. And you've got to go out and sell what we offer and the lifestyle that we offer to those people.
So-
But I can't do it. I'm overcommitted, but
But
there
together-
needs to be people that are willing to put that together.
So could you create a ginormous, fabulous project that connects different agencies across different sectors and the hospital, and create a sort of public awareness campaign that places the artist at the forefront and is paid for their work? And it could be literary artists, it could be digital artists that are creating the story through video or film.
The big joke is that you might be able to attract the doctor, but the doctor's spouse comes here and they're 2.5 hours from Costco. They're 2.5 hours from Trader Joe's. There's no mall within 5 hours. And they don't want to live here.
So I think part of the recruitment issue, one, is housing, and I do know we have tons of jobs that we are trying to recruit professionals. So there's a lot of jobs available, and like for the Food Policy Council, is anyone here from the Food Policy Council tonight? They were trying to recruit folks and they couldn't find a place to live. So they couldn't move here, even though they have a job and a wage here ready for them. So kids found a boat after the tsunami that happened that really took out what is now our sister city in Japan. And we lost our harbor, but they lost their entire...
In the 1960s?
No.
2011. March 2011.
A lot of community resilience came around this. We've had trips, the foreign exchange students, not only with the high schoolers, but with our politicians and some of our businesses to try to create that resilience and relationship, because what's eerie is that city looks so much like Crescent City. And so they sent the boat back to that high school, and we've developed a relationship since then with this community. But one of the things that helped, I think, enlighten us is emergency, right? And how do we prepare for an earthquake or a tsunami, and looking at what they're doing and their resiliency has been phenomenal. And then they're going to be doing a Taloa interpretive center and a little trail, right, that's going to walk you through the story of the Taloa in this ancestral lands. And one of the other examples that I've seen is like a path, when you were looking for examples, is a path with stones of how many the population was here in 1,000 years ago. 800 years ago, 600 years ago, and then when you see colonization come into play, those thousands of pebbles in your path turn into 400 and 200, and then they start growing again. So that kind of artwork, I think, would be beautiful for our ancestral land.
This is so helpful for me, because I do feel we've teased out the beginnings of conversations that could go in different directions, and they're all connected, aren't they? Mm-hmm. Like, it started off with this one indus that we looked at that showed that, that particular tract north of Crescent City, had the lowest number of people that were insured. And then you then took that and you uncovered, some really desperate truths around which we could create some kind of livability campaign with artists performing, a vital role in that.
People are drawn to our area because of nature, and we're seeing more people from the Bay Area and bigger areas coming to Crescent City because they're drawn to the nature aspect of that. But when they get here, part of what I see in my nature of why I work for the city, is we hear a lot of people say, gosh, it's so beautiful here, but the town, when you get to the town, it's such a apathetic spirit that's here. So we have a lot of generations, and I hate to say this, of underprivileged or poor families, and it's a generational thing. And we have a lot of underprivileged families here, and how can we bring the art to where it's accessible to our residents here is huge, and I think they'll be able to see that when they come visit, because when people see it, they love it. They love the nature, the beach, redwoods. When they get into the community, everybody's just they're not excited, but there's such a buzz if you're actually in the community and involved, and in the arts that you can feel and you know what's going on. There's a ton of things to be excited about in the community. So how can we get our groups excited about that? How can we get our community excited and engaged? Because I think when people see and they feel our actual residents here excited and the buzz among that, then it's going to create a bigger buzz in general. So that's just kind of what I've seen, my experience.
How do you get people excited about art when they're living in poverty? I mean, that's huge, because we have approximately 2% people living in poverty. We have high unemployment here. The wages are stagnated. A lot of the small businesses that you see in downtown Crescent City used to be open until Walmart moved in. I mean, that's where I think that we lost a lot of businesses.
I'm a local artist, and I've also taught within our school district for Asians in San Francisco, Sacramento, Humboldt. So I know that the passion is there and the identification that these are really important skills. It's just how can we keep a consistent, focused effort on and pulling our resources together. But I think what I'm trying to say is that there is a huge community support, but what we need is some set of people who can keep a big vision and also who have the skills to say, this is how we can administer funds. Like, this is a big vision, here's who's going to help, and how it's going to go, the project management part. But the people and the passion are here, but maybe not the resources, the economic resources.
I think, kind of tapping into what Julie said, what some other folks have said, I think there is a huge, huge untapped piece here, right? Because I saw Alicia's hand go up too when you talked about how's a low-income kid getting access art. It's a great, number one, it's therapeutic. Number two, it's expressive. Number three, a lot of our kids who struggle the most are kids who have, in some ways, the most divergent views of society, of culture, of nature, of whatever. And they have these really artistic ways, whether it's through writing, whether it's through language, whether it's through spoken, whether it's through photography, whether it's through painting, whatever it is, that can really engage a kid. We've seen it, right, over and over again. The other thing that we're really missing too, and matter of fact, I was just down in Klamath working with the Yurok tribe, but we were talking about how do we encourage students to become educated, to come back to their community, to contribute to the community, and make it into these wonderful places. This could be the Carmel of the North Coast, right? However, we have wonderful jewelry makers, we have wonderful basketry experts, we've got great digital artists, physical artists, sculptors, actors, musicians.
So this is where coming together is like, it's sort of an economies of scale, but it's also drawing upon resources that we might have to offer and then drawing upon other agencies' resources.